So, you want to learn about Wuthering Waves? Here's the basics you need to know explained in 5 minutes. Wuthering Wave is currently doing something very dangerous, respecting the players. Typically, when a gacha starts doing that, that's when you should start getting suspicious, because that's usually the moment right before everything goes wrong. But right now, Wuthering Waves is not just doing it, it's doing it consistently. It's got one of the most technical combat systems in the genre, a production value that feels honestly illegal, a story that randomly switches from pretty decent to full-on constant emotional blows with no warning, all that topped off by a level of generosity most gacha treats like a myth. So, either this is the new standard, or we're all just emotionally buffering in real time. And if that sounds accurate, you're already subscribed emotionally, so might as well make it official. I mean, it won't help you, but it might help me survive the rant. The word and tone of the game is actually very dark, tragic, and full of suffering. You have lost civilization, emotional trauma, you know, kind of like a classic Genshin player experience. It's got stakes, tension, mystery, ancient rune, and all that lore-heavy stuff that developers spend 300 hours writing, that players will skip in 0.8 seconds because a menu popped up somewhere else and they have trouble containing their undiagnosed ADHD. But credit where it's due, the vibe is actually very serious. Like, people are dying dramatically in 4K serious. But the gameplay is where things get very interesting. Because unlike Genshin Impact, where you press a rainbow button and hope something dies, this one wants you to think. It's not elemental chaos. It's more like timed violence with anime choreography and emotional responsibility. Some characters are simple, like press a button and win, simple, while others require frame-perfect timing, emotional discipline, and a minor degree in aerospace engineering. And the worst part is you think you're doing well until the game hits you with a rotation check and suddenly you're playing piano on a boss fight like it's an unpaid internship. It's not combat anymore at this point, it's a performance review with swords. Visually though, the game is insane. The sound design, overqualified. The menus, polished like someone was scared of disappointing their ancestors. This game didn't just get made, it got overfunded in silence. They even added full vocal tracks tied to story moments, not just background music. We're talking emotional damage song with lyrics that feels like they were written specifically to ruin your week. If you understand the plot, that's mad respect right there. Speaking of the plot, the early game was kinda shaky, like, okay, I guess I'm present. But then, after the early patches, the game suddenly remembers it's allowed to emotionally hurt you. Arcs like the Black Shore, the Inverted Tower, Frolova Somewhere, and Ameth in Lahai Roy starts hitting way harder than expected. It's one of those stories where it takes a lot of setup and get going, and then suddenly you turn a corner and you're emotionally destroyed for no reason. Just love that. But you still need the characters, which is where Wuthering Wave is doing something very suspicious. They're being nice. Too nice. Free unit that don't suck, selectors for new players, free dupes, and events everywhere. Even the collabs with Cyberpunk that is just about to drop, that's not content, that's a hostage negotiation with rewards. You get a free Rebecca, and if you're lucky you can even walk away with dupes like you just survived a corporate apology email. And somehow, it's working. It's very free-to-play friendly, which in gacha language means that we are allowed to suffer less than usual. But we still need to talk about the real end game. The community. Because you see, Wuthering Wave exists in the most hostile environment known to man, a constant war with Hoyo Chills and every other gacha community on Earth. On one side, if you like Wuthering Wave, you're a Kurobot, and on the other, if you don't, you're a Hoyo Chill. And there's no middle ground. You can't enjoy your game in peace. You either praise the game and get cancelled for propaganda by Hoyo Chills, or criticize the games and get framed for sabotage by Hoyo Chills. Because how dare you like any other game than Genshin? Genshin is the absolute king and you need to know it. You can't even say, this is kinda cool, without someone interpreting it as a geopolitical statement. At this point, enjoyment itself is a controversial opinion. And honestly, I've accepted it. Look, if liking a game means I'm part of a digital faction war, then fine. Call me a Curobot, at least I get to dodge your trash argument in 4K 60 frames per second. So yeah, Wuthering Waves is an emotional trauma delivery system wrapped in an anime combat addiction simulator with a side of community war crime scene. Is it perfect? No. Is it trying way too hard to be good? Absolutely. But unlike some companies starting with Ho and ending with Your Verse, and that shall remain unnamed, Kura Games listen and respect their players. And weirdly, that might be enough to actually shift the industry in the right direction. And that was 5 minutes to Wuthering Waves. If you didn't know, now you know. All that's left for you is to subscribe and go check the previous video right here, or the entire playlist right here.